The first time I heard about the Reaper's game, I thought it was nothing more than a quaint superstition, a story cooked up to scare kids like me into obedience. But in our small town, where the unusual was often the norm, nothing was ever that simple. It was a chilly evening in late October when the fog began to roll in, thick and unyielding, like a curtain drawn across the stage of our little community. I remember standing at my bedroom window, watching the mist swallow the streets, the houses, and then the world beyond. There was something hypnotic about it. The way it moved. Alive and with purpose. "John, you best stay inside tonight," my mom called out from downstairs, her voice tinged with an unease she tried to hide. "That fog's not natural." I just nodded, even though she couldn't see me. In our town, the fog was an omen, a harbinger of the game. The Reaper's game. Legend had it that on one night every year, when the fog descended thick as smoke, the Grim Reaper would walk our streets. Anyone who dared to wander outside would be drawn into his macabre game. Answer his riddle right, and you'd be blessed with a year of good fortune. Get it wrong, and well, you'd lose a year of your life. I never believed in such tales. To me, they were just that, stories. But that night, as the fog crept and curled around my house, a strange curiosity stirred within me. What if there was a shred of truth to the legend? I glanced at the digital clock beside my bed. It was nearing midnight. The streets outside were eerily quiet, the silence only deepened by the fog. I knew I should heed my mom's warning, but the allure of the unknown was too strong. I needed to see for myself, to prove that it was all just a story. Slipping on my jacket, I grabbed a flashlight and quietly made my way downstairs. The floorboards creaked under my cautious steps. Pausing at the front door, I hesitated. This could be a terrible idea. But the pull of the unknown was irresistible. I turned the doorknob, the cool night air rushing in to greet me as I stepped into the fog. It was like stepping into another world. The familiar sights of my neighborhood were gone, shrouded in a ghostly white veil. The beam of my flashlight seemed to get swallowed up, barely penetrating the dense fog. A chill ran down my spine, but I pushed it aside and began to walk, the sound of my footsteps unnaturally loud in the silent night. As I wandered, the reality of what I was doing began to sink in. The streets felt alien, the thick fog transforming everything into shadows and whispers. I could feel the weight of countless eyes watching me from the unseen houses. Or maybe it was something else. Something waiting in the fog. Then I heard it. A low, guttural chuckle, echoing through the mist. My heart raced, my grip on the flashlight tightening. I wasn't alone. A figure slowly materialized from the fog ahead of me. Tall, cloaked in darkness, with an air of solemnity that made my blood run cold. "So, you've come to play the game." A voice, deep and resonant, broke the silence. It was him, the Grim Reaper, just like in the stories. I should have been afraid, should have run. But instead, I found myself rooted to the spot, fascination overtaking fear. This was the moment of truth, the moment my skepticism would be challenged. "Answer my riddle correctly, and a year of good fortune shall be yours," the Reaper intoned. "Fail, and a year shall be taken from your life." I swallowed hard, my mind racing. This was really happening. I was about to play the Reaper's game. The fog seemed to swirl around the Reaper as he leaned in closer, his face hidden beneath his hood. "Are you ready for your riddle?" he asked, his voice a whisper that seemed to resonate in my very soul. I nodded, my voice a mere breath as I uttered, "Yes." The Reaper straightened, and the world seemed to hold its breath. Then, in a voice that chilled me to the bone, he began to speak his riddle. I stood there in the fog, face to face with the Grim Reaper, a figure of myth made real. The fog around us swirled in unnatural patterns, as if alive with anticipation. His presence was overwhelming, a shadow that chilled the air. "John," he said, my name rolling off his tongue like a dark melody. Here is your riddle. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with wind. What am I? My mind raced, panic and excitement warring within me. This was the stuff of legends, a story come to life. The riddle echoed in my head, a puzzle that held the key to my fate. I felt a strange sense of detachment, as if this was a dream. Yet the cold night air and the looming figure before me were all too real. An echo. The answer struck me with clarity. An echo, I said, my voice stronger than I felt. The Reaper remained silent for a moment, then let out a low, rumbling laugh. Correct, he intoned. The fog seemed to pulse with his words. You have earned a year of good fortune, John. But the night is young, and the game is not yet over. A shiver ran down my spine. I had answered correctly, but the way he said, "The game is not yet over," filled me with a sense of foreboding. I should have turned back, ended this madness, but my curiosity was piqued. Why do you do this? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Why play this game? The Reaper tilted his head slightly, as if amused by my question. This game is as old as time itself, a test of wits and wills. It reminds mortals of the fragility of life and the inevitability of death. I felt a chill that had nothing to do with the night air. His words resonated with a truth that I couldn't deny. Life was fragile, a fleeting moment in the grand scheme of things. Ready for your next riddle? The Reaper asked, his voice echoing in the fog. I nodded, a mix of dread and excitement coursing through me. Very well, he said. I'm light as a feather, yet the strongest man can't hold me for much more than a minute. What am I? My mind whirred, dissecting the riddle. Light as a feather. Can't be held. The answer came to me in a flash of insight. Breath, I said, the word escaping my lips in a puff of white mist. The Reaper paused, then nodded slowly. Correct again. You are more astute than most who play my game. I felt a surge of relief, quickly followed by unease. What was the purpose of these riddles? Was there a deeper meaning to this game? But be warned, the Reaper continued, his voice dropping to a menacing tone. The final riddle will not be so easy, and the stakes will be higher. A sense of foreboding filled me. I had come this far, tempted fate twice, but did I dare continue? Curiosity had led me here, but fear now gripped my heart. The final riddle awaited, and with it, perhaps, my doom. The chill of the night air seemed to seep into my bones as I stood there, enveloped in the thick fog, facing the Reaper. His presence was a dark, heavy weight, a reminder of the seriousness of the game I had unwittingly joined. The reality of my situation was setting in. This was no mere legend. This was a dance with death itself. Consider this carefully, John. The Reaper's voice boomed, its echo seeming to dance with the mist. The final riddle is thus. I am not alive, yet I grow. I don't have lungs, yet I need air. I don't have a mouth, yet water kills me. What am I? My mind whirled, grappling with the riddle's paradox. It seemed to mock my understanding of life and death, of existence itself. I paced slowly, my footsteps muffled by the fog-covered ground, each step a desperate search for answers. The Reaper watched, a silent sentinel in the swirling mist. As I pondered, flashes of my town's history flickered through my mind. This place was steeped in mysteries and old wives' tales, often shrouded in the very fog that now enveloped us. I remembered the stories my grandfather would tell, his voice low and serious, speaking of unexplained occurrences and the lore of our town, especially on nights like this. Then, like a spark in the darkness, it came to me. The memory of a story about a devastating fire that had once engulfed part of our town. It had raged with a life of its own, almost defying the efforts to quench it. And then, the key water had extinguished it, snuffing out its furious dance. The answer was as clear as the night sky above the fog. Fire, I declared, my voice steady despite the trembling in my heart. The answer is fire. An eerie silence followed, as if the fog itself was holding its breath. Then the Reaper spoke, his voice resonating around us. Indeed, you are correct. The riddles are complete, but the game, John, extends beyond mere words. Relief flooded through me, but it was quickly overshadowed by a sense of unease. The Reaper's words hinted at something deeper, an unfinished thread in the tapestry of this night. You have unraveled the riddles with your intellect, the Reaper continued, his form shifting subtly within the fog. But have you grasped their deeper meaning? Have you understood their reflection of life, of your own existence? His question struck a chord deep within me. This night, this game, wasn't just a test of wit. It was a mirror held up to my own soul, a journey through the labyrinth of my fears and fascinations with the unknown. The fog began to thin, slowly revealing the familiar shapes of my neighborhood. Yet, everything seemed different, clearer somehow, as if I was seeing it all for the first time. The Reaper's form began to dissipate into the mist, his parting words echoing in the newfound silence of the night. Remember the lessons of this game, John. In understanding death, we can truly comprehend the value of life. The night had transformed around me. The once menacing fog now lifted, revealing a clear, star-studded sky. The streets of my small town, once shrouded in mystery and fear, lay quiet and serene. As I made my way back home, the Reaper's final riddle echoed in my mind, its implications far deeper than I had initially realized. I sat on the edge of my bed, my mind still racing. The Reaper's game was over, but its impact lingered, stirring within me a newfound awareness. The riddles, while cryptic, were reflections of life's enigmatic nature, of the delicate balance between existence and oblivion. In deciphering them, I had uncovered a part of myself, an understanding of the impermanence and fragility of life. But there was more to it. The Reaper's game had been more than a test. It was a journey of self-discovery, a reminder of the delicate balance between life and death, and the preciousness of every moment in between. I had faced my deepest fears, not with blind courage, but with a quest for understanding. And in doing so, I had grown. As dawn broke, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, I realized that the Reaper's visit was more than an encounter with death. It was a lesson in living. Life, much like the riddles, was a complex puzzle, full of uncertainties and paradoxes. But it was these very complexities that made it beautiful, worth cherishing every moment. The town slowly came to life as the sun rose higher. People went about their daily routines, unaware of the extraordinary events of the night, and that was okay. The game was mine, a personal journey that needed no external validation. In the weeks that followed, I found myself more engaged with life, more appreciative of the small joys and wonders around me. I took nothing for granted, knowing too well how quickly it could all change. The fear of the unknown, which had once held me back, now became a driving force, pushing me to explore, to learn, to live fully. The legend of the Reaper's game continued to be whispered in the town, a tale to frighten and intrigue. But for me, it was a poignant reminder of life's ephemeral nature and the importance of embracing every moment. As I walked through the streets of my town, under the same stars that had witnessed my game with the Reaper, I realized that life was a riddle in itself, one that didn't necessarily need an answer. It was enough to experience it, to be part of its intricate, ever-unfolding mystery. And so, with a heart full of gratitude and eyes open to the wonder of existence, I continued my journey, forever changed by the night I played the Reaper's game.